Welcome, guys, to round number 2 of the Pro League Grand Playoffs. Here we do have the Jin Air Green Wings up against CJ Entis. Today will be the first day. I am Valdez. Joined with me today is Wolf and Moonglade once again. How are you guys doing?
Great. It's time for another TriCast here, and we saw Jin Air Green Wings dominate last week. You know, it was a tough road, but they won 2-0, which a lot of people were expecting KT to win. And now CJ Entis has a tough lineup to go against today, but we'll see if they can actually pull it out.
Yeah, this could really go the distance. Looking at just the matches we have firsthand for this first day in the playoffs, I feel like this could go, to Game 7. It could go into the ace match. It's so back and forth in terms of favorable matchups, but we could see an upset. I think Jin Air could very well get an early win and get another upset here today.
Yeah, I'm definitely favoring Jin Air here, especially after looking at the lineups. I feel like CJ definitely has a chance. They have some great players, a lot of players that we don't get to see, actually. Ragnarok, they got Sora coming in. Even Bunny is a guy we didn't see all too often in Pro League. So because of the format that we do have today, and also on the third day if we do get there, it's pretty cool. We get to see these players that don't often come out.
Yeah, for me, this is kind of reminiscent of last year, where we actually had CJ versus SKT to decide who was going to go against KT in the grand finals. And it was a very close match, went all the way to Game 7 on the final day. And I think we could have something similar here today. I think this one could go the distance to Game 7. I think CJ has really prepared some really cool snipe players, just like we saw Jin Air do last week versus KT Rolster. I think most people favor Jin Air, myself included, but I really think this could go either way.
I feel like just looking at the lineups here today as well, especially for CJ, they got 3 good players, 3 players that are kind of guarantee points, and that's like going to be Byung, Biel, and Hero. But then they're going to need that 4th one. They're going to need someone else to step up, and I feel like every time it's going to be an upset. Like, they're going to have to upset an opponent to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it happen before. It even happened just when Jin Air was playing KT. We saw someone like Pig Baby come in and upset TY, a guy who never dies to all-ins from Protoss, and I think the map was also Iron Fortress. So I feel like anything could happen, as Wolf said. Obviously, some snipe players coming out here. Both these teams have definitely prepared very well.
Yeah, I have to agree. The snipe potential here is really, I think, on CJ's side. They're the ones who are bringing the unusual players. And we do have Symbol coming out for Jin Air Green Wings, but I feel like it's more of a filler kind of required player.
He's the lamb to the slaughter, man. He's against Hero on Terraform. He's going down. But besides that, I mean, we can look at it now. I feel like there are a couple of mismatches. You look at Ragnarok. That guy, we haven't seen him all year. Sora, we haven't seen him all year. CJ's forced to use these players. They can't just sit there and use the 4 plays they've been using all year long. They have to bring out some extra ones, and it's kind of, I don't know, like they could be snipers or they could just be like trying their best, but they just haven't found traction this year.
Yeah, if you just look at these lineups, for example, if you look at CJ, it's clear they filled in some holes here. They have to have really good snipe builds prepared. These have been announced since Friday, so they've had quite a few days to prepare. It's during Chuseok as well, so we'll see actually if these players come with really sick strategies. But something that's really important to know is what you said is that the all-kill format is really strong for CJ Entis because they have these great players like Hero and Biel, but those 2 in particular. A win today would really give them a great start going into that all-kill format, but a loss could mean tough times, going into the future.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at from the Jin Air's perspective as well, they've got such a powerful lineup. I'm actually a huge fan of where they are with Ro.2, SOS, Trap, and Maru. The only real weak link is Symbol, and he's there to take the hit for against Zero.
Essentially, and that's actually a great matchup. They didn't send someone out like Rogue or even someone like SOS to go up against Hero, which is one of your heavy hitters. At least SOS, he's heading up against Biel, but I feel like he's also got somewhat of a chance against Biel. But especially when I look at that Bunny versus Rogue matchup, it could have been Hero versus Rogue, and you never know which way that's going to go. You definitely want that free win for Rogue. More so.
Just looking at the regular season ranks, you can see these 2 teams are pretty similar to each other. A much more impressive start for CJ, a solid finish. Jin Air having one of the weakest finishes in round 4, but they proved already last week that their round 4 results are not indicative of how they're doing right now.
KT certainly showed that was relevant for them, though. They had a really bad half of the last year, and they paid for it in the playoffs. They came in there looking horrible, especially in that Day 1. But, moving on from that, it should be a pretty close match today at the end of all things.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at some stats here, regular season, only 2 extra wins there for CJ Entis, but a little bit of extra wins going to Jin Air and some of those other categories. So definitely 2 evenly matched teams here. And you can see the player records against the specific teams. And the ones that really stand out, I guess, is that SOS is doing pretty well. Hero, you know, and Biel up at the top, but they're only 10-9 and 5-4 against Jenner.
That's kind of surprisingly close as well, like how evenly matched these teams are when it comes to trading wins.
Here's some of our map stats here. You can see that the best ones are highlighted in yellow for these two teams. I think the most specifically important one is that Jenner Green Wings is 11-5 on Echo. So really solid wins there. It looks like mostly Hero at Maru maybe on Echo, I'd say. Actually, hold on,
It's Bunny versus Rogue in the first match.
Okay, I'm just looking at these stats. I had them backwards. I thought it said T was 7-3 on that map, and I was like, oh, that must be Maru, but no, it's P who's 7-3. Not entirely sure who has those stats on that map, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
But it's an incredible stat. So first map, not going to be seeing a Protoss from them, but anyways, that's a good map for them.
Well, going into the viewpoints here, Jenner has a winning record in the postseason of 2015. CJ won 4-3 in the second round to become the champions over Jenner, and both need the backup of the players that I didn't catch it, but I assume they're talking about how, you know, they have certain very strong players, and then the backup kind of beeline, they really need to step up for both these teams.
It's a weak lineup for CJ especially. We saw it all year long. It was Hero, it was the show of Hero and Biel, and if those guys can get the wins, they don't win.
Absolutely. And that's actually what we saw was actually what happened in that finals versus Jenner as well with CJ. You know, Biel kind of carried them through that and was able to take out Maru with a cool Spire build, rushing it on Bonnie Research Station, or rather King Sejong Station, I think it even was back then, when that was still in the pool. And that's why they're so strong in the all-kill format, because they have these two players who get so many kills. When you go into this format, though, they have to pull in these other players and these best of ones, and if they don't perform, things get out of hand very quickly. And I think it's one of the reasons why most people favor Jenner's deeper lineup overall today.
Yeah, and even in that all-kill format, I mean, people like Maru, you look at Rogue even definitely can get multiple kills, but then we just had SOS get 4 in a row against a decently stacked PT Rolster lineup. So even when you go there, you can't really give CJ that big of an edge, because Jenner has also got some great all-kill players as well.
Yep. Look at the crowd today as well. It's pretty incredible, especially considering that today is still the last day of essentially what's the biggest holiday in Korea, and there's still a ton of people here.
Yep, for sure, but it looks like we are going to jump into this coach's interview here. We'll get that translated for you guys right away.
자, 먼저 박용훈 감독님께 궁금한 사항 물어보겠습니다. 최근 CJ 투스의 선수들이 스타리그와 GSL 다양한 곳에서 굉장히 좋은 모습을 보여주고 있는데 그 선수들의 그 좋은 기세들이 다른 선수들에게
CJ players are doing very well in individual leagues and Pro League.
영감을 주고 있고요.
Are they affecting the other players on their team? They're sharing the strategies with their teammates.
옆에 선수들이 많이 보고 저렇게 하면
And their teammates are very happy for them because they're performing very well in individual leagues specifically. And the atmosphere in the team houses is pretty good.
속에 있다는 생각이 좀 들거든요. 개인 리그와 프로 리그를 다 동시에 섞어낼 수 있는 이런 흐름을 타고 있지 않은가라는 생각이 들고 있는데, 오늘 진에어 선수 중에 가장 경계에 대한 선수가 있다면 어떤 선수로 보십니까?
Who's the scariest player on Jenner for you guys?
저희한테 항상 새로운 일격을 가하는 이병렬 선수랑 그리고 항상
As you all know, Jenner players are very strong against our team, but Rogue always brings out strange and unique strategies whenever he plays against us, so we do have to watch out for Rogue. And of course Maru is always a threat for us, and for anyone really.
Yep, no doubt about that.
사실 진에어에서 좀 많이 라인업을 뽑았다고 생각을 해요. 어떻게 보면
Did you suspect that Rogue would come out first? And he says no. I think they actually changed the strategy there.
사실 라인업 전체적으로
So they wanted to avoid Hero actually. It looks like on that map.
저희 입장에서 만족스러운 수준이고 그냥 궁금해요.
If you look at the full lineup of tonight, I'm actually very satisfied, and I'm really curious to see what Rogue is going to do in the first set.
실제로 좀 꼬아 보려고 노력을 하셨는지, 혹시 또 라인업이 마음에 드시는지 어떻게 생각하시나요?
네, 전체적으로 마음에 듭니다.
So,
CJ는 지금 우리
what do you think
라인업이
about the lineup? Asking the Jenner coach, he said, I'm also very satisfied with the lineups today.
그냥 원래 이 자리에 앉아서 인터뷰를 하면 다 저렇게밖에 말을 못 하겠더라고요. 자신 있다. 엔트리 예상이
When coaches do these kind of interviews,
그렇기 때문에
it's always really hard to be 100% honest.
개의치는 않고요.
You have to be very confident,
개의치는 않습니다.
and you have to motivate your players in the interview.
자신감이 넘쳐 보이시는 것 같은데.
So it's very hard to be 100% honest. I'm like, don't say that though. Then your players are like, he's
김민준 선수가
lying.
Yeah, he's even lying this whole time.
벤치를 봤는데 차재훈 감독이 얼굴을 감싸고 있었어요. 뭔가
So
굉장히
talking about now where
강력스러우셨을 것
SOS's
같은데
reverse
느낌이
all kill
어떠셨나요?
last week on day 2. How are you feeling?
진짜 좋았어요.
I was really happy about that.
KT가 워낙 멤버가 너무 좋아서 사실 3차전
KT has very strong players in their roster.
밀리고 있어서 3차전 이제 엔트리랑 그다음에 그런 것들 고민하고 있었는데
I started to prepare for the third match because we were losing actually in the second day. So he's already thinking about day 3. But we were actually really happy we got another day off, and SOS just put on a show.
조성호, 김유진까지 그 프로토스의 활약을 어떻게 보셨습니까? 평가를 하신다면요.
뭐 끝까지 방심.
So lastly, can you tell us about the performance of the Protoss players in Jin Air?
이끌더라도 저희가 2차전에
I just got to realize once again that Jinair is a very strong team,
해야 되는 좋은 교훈을 주지 않았나.
and we're gonna have to watch out for their Protoss players.
지난 시즌에도 저희가 1차전을 이기고 2차전에서 좀 쉽게
Last year we won in the first day, and we lost in the second, and also the third. So we're gonna try take revenge in our last postseason. But I think our players are more focused and better prepared, and we're more motivated to become the champions. And I think we're going to be able to show a great match today.
매진했을 양 팀의 선수들 그리고 감독님들께도 다시 한번 감사하다는 말씀을 드리겠고요. 오늘 멋진 경기 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
시즌 투스의 박용훈
So that's going to be it for the coaches interview. Interesting words there, especially from the Jin Air coach. He's very honest today.
Yeah,
where
kind
he's
of
like,
weird to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you even say this? Like, are you trying to
he's like, I wish I could speak my mind and tell about which players are
how
not playing
crap
well and
my
stuff.
team is
Yeah,
right now? Like, I'm like, damn, dude.
but I won't because this is a coaches interview.
And they can hear me.
Well, I mean, I feel like the most important thing to note, which wasn't really discussed in this interview, is that these coaches are actually insanely close friends. I actually see them hanging out in the studio together quite a lot when they play against each other in round robin, and also, of course, today in postseason they were hanging out before the match as well. Here's going to be our first CJ player, Bunny. He's only played 3 times this year in Pro League.
Yeah, it says a lot about the player. I mean, every time we've seen him play, he's kind of just a cheesy Terran player. We saw that in Mario when he first started out in Prime. He's gone along that same sort of path. He does like a lot of proxies, especially proxy Reapers.
Yeah, I mean, he does that very often. I feel like he's got the potential in the same sense. You know, we've seen him have some pretty fantastic games. I think last season is when I was thinking about him, but you know, this season, as you said, Wolf, haven't seen him much. And he is going up against Rogue here.
Yeah, Rogue, one of our most winning Zerg players at 17-7 this season. A very scary opponent, and you know, as the coach was saying earlier, as Coach Park was saying, he's really curious to see what he's going to do because Rogue usually plays pretty unique in these important matches.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I feel like he doesn't have to bring out too much against someone like Bunny if it's a straight-up game there. Bunny, much less experienced, much less skilled in general. It should be an easy win for Rogue unless there is quite an upset.
Yeah, I'd say just scout well. Make sure you're not being proxy. Maybe go for a safe build, because I think if it does go to a macro game, Rogue's got this easy.
Now looking at the last 10 games, you can see Bunny, it's about half and half. Unfortunately, though, most of those games are from a long, long time ago. They haven't played against each other too many times, only 11, and Rogue just barely has the edge here. But I feel like today, on this day, and where these two players are in recent times, Rogue is massively favored. 8-3 currently, whereas Bunny 0-1 on this map.
Yeah, 8-3 on this map. That is Echo, which is going to be the first map of the first game of the first day, guys. So get hyped. We're about to jump into game number 1 here between Bunny and Rogue. down here in the bottom right, in the yellow, the Terran player from CJ Entus, it is Bunny.
Chuseok coming to an end today. Now down, or rather up, here to the top left in green for Jenner Green Wings. It is Rogue, highly favored in this first match versus Bunny.
Oh, what is
some
that?
rice cakes with some faces.
I thought it was spam or something.
Oh, it could be,
Actually, I think you're right. I think it is spam.
Yeah.
I didn't get any spam this Chuseok. Really sad.
Is that meant to be a Chuseok thing? You get spam?
Yeah, it's usually spam or like shampoo and toothpaste.
Oh, I can.
Those are like the three things.
Or like ginseng.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I saw some packages as well for some Korean beef. Some
Ooh.
really expensive pieces of, I guess, the most prime Korean beef, going up to like $800. Saw that in the department store.
$800?
Yeah, the other day. Not for like one steak, like a little package of it.
It's like a year's supply of steak. That's the only way I'd pay that much. Oh well. Look at this. Early drone scout for Rogue. Making sure no proxies are on the map to deal with, obviously, Bunny. Been doing that a lot in the past.
Yeah, and Rogue is also known to proxy himself. I don't think he's going to be doing it in this matchup, but the last time these two teams played in the finals, round 3 I believe it was, might have been round 2. Either way, he actually proxied versus a Protoss. So you see him do that every now and then. He is going to just come up here, sees it's not a CC first, was going to harass that, but it's just going to be, looks like a normal Reaper expand here.
Yep, nothing out of the ordinary. And he gets a good scout of it as well.
No gas just yet up here for Bunny, however, and he actually might just kill this.
Oh, man.
Drone getting very low.
Yeah, Bunny has taken that gas.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Actually,
Okay.
is probably going to go for a Reaper here to start things off. There it is. Just going to get that. Very good on this map. This guy came from Jeonju.
I didn't like how he shakes it, man. Like, how are we meant to read it? All right. Well, now that we're... things are starting to open up here, but it's very standard builds from both sides. And it's definitely going to be that Reaper expand. And just the standard timing of pool, extractor, everything just safe early start here. And I wouldn't be surprised if we did see Rogue go for that 2-base muter opening. Just keep things safe, try and take map control on that third base a little bit later. Just make sure you don't fall to anything early on.
Yeah, I think it's funny because we heard that interview earlier with Coach Park, and he was saying he thinks that Rogue might do something aggressive. I think that's kind of what Bunny is hoping for based on his opening here. He's kind of hoping Rogue's going to do something weird and he just defends it and wins in a macro game. But if I'm Rogue here, I 100% just play safe versus Bunny because I can beat him in a macro game like easily. I mean, in most cases you would say that because Rogue is just so much more accomplished this year overall. Not by cheese, by like straight up play.
Do you guys think there's any chance that Bunny goes for mech on this map? It's been more, popular these days out of Terrans against Zerg, and Echo is one of the best maps that you can do it on. It's very easy to get a 4th base.
Yeah, you know what? I definitely think that's a possibility, and we're going to find out very soon if it is going to be the case.
Yeah, I would almost say it's likely unless he does some sort of weird timing attack like Hellbats or something, which... he is taking a second gas now. It's still on the table. It's still possible.
I think it could be like a Banshee behind this, so it could be just a Hellion Banshee style.
Yeah. Looks like that's what we're going to see. Just pushing a few Marines out to get the Overlords away. And with this Reaper staying out here, I think your prediction comes more and more true. I want to see if he can deny the Tumors to make that harassment a little bit easier.
Yep. Reaper just teasing there, not actually jumping up. Seeing that... probably knowing that the Lings would be there, so
yeah,
gonna go for it.
The Lings aren't anywhere else. The Queens are guarding the front. Good chance they're waiting to deny this Reaper, but you don't really have to scout too much more at this point. You're trying to figure out exactly if there is going to be like a roach timing or something behind it. But with the build order, we do see from Bunny as well, like he could, if he wanted to, go for a Banshee and be pretty safe as well as Widow Mines. Speaking of that, there, it looks like it could be a Widow Mine drop.
Yeah, Widow Mines and that medevac on the way here. He's going to try to deny this 3rd base, but it will get planted, which means not going to be canceled there. And here comes a little Ling run by. Nothing.
Oh, the Mule goes down at the wrong time as well.
Yep. Going to get that Mule here, and maybe even a couple of SCVs. One will go down. A second one that was building the supply depot will go down as well.
Oh, make that 3. Yeah, he's just really not in a good place here. Really caught off.
Yeah. And he's like splitting against the Widow Mines. The Widow Mines have now also been scouted. So this is a great little tiny move that
Yeah.
Rogue does to get massively ahead.
Not sure how these Lings snuck by the Reaper and the Hellions in the front door, but regardless, I mean, those are going to be the only units you're going to have on the map as the Terran to defend against something like that. So
Yeah.
kind of unlucky there for Bunny.
Great punishment as well. I mean, like, considering the build order from Bunny, like 2 Hellions and a Reaper on the map, of course Lings are going to do some work. And that natural was wide open.
Not going to find anything this time. It doesn't look like it's walled out. Let's see if he's ready for this drop. He does have spores in place as well as a queen here. I don't think this will find much as long as he splits against it. Ooh, he's going aggressive on that with the Lings.
Bunch of Lings are going to go down, and a really big hit there as well. 6 drones in total, and it looks like he will save 1. Meanwhile, that medevac is very low.
High chance it goes down if the queens are on point. Oh, he doesn't split them. Looks like it will escape here, and the Widowmine will fall. All but 1, as you mentioned. We do see a 3rd CC coming up as well as Stim, so it will be Bio as the choice.
Well, see how I can do with this. That Widowmine drop wasn't too bad, and he's got, you know, an ability to use another one. Looks like I think there might be another one coming across the map. There we go now, getting picked up. So I do like this momentum Bunny is building. If he can get some big drone hits this time around, he could follow up with a pretty strong timing attack.
And he's really hoping for that. He is getting 2 E-bays, though, so if that sort of attack doesn't work out, he's definitely got a late-game plan as well. And, you know, the 1-1 upgrades are already on the way for Rogue, so something else to keep in mind. Okay, he's coming in here now with 4 Widowmines in this drop.
Well, we'll see what damage this can get done. A Spore is about to finish at the same time, so he will have that detection. Looks like he's going to drop 1 here and actually does not get focused down. And it gets a hit on a lot of Lings there.
Such a good hit. He's got Lair now, so he can detect these a little bit easier, but detection has not been the problem. It's just been simply how much mine time he's losing and how many Lings he's losing.
Yeah, a lot of really bunched up Lings trying to deal with these mines as well. And, well, this medivac's pretty low. 40 HP, it could get targeted down by Queens, but doesn't know where it is.
Gonna try to drop a couple in here. Bunny's been very sneaky with these drops. He doesn't just drop every single Widowmine every time.
Oh, killed the
boy.
medivac. Oh, that never happened. That's awesome.
He should have probably just canceled that second one and tried to escape with it. But looks like he was multitasking that Widowmine at the same time. But still, keeping it pretty close in workers. He's going to go for another drop. This has kind of been the way Bunny's been playing in his recent Pro League matches. He dismantled SOS, actually, with the same sort of style.
But look at this. You know, there's 2 Hellions, 3 Marines here to defend against this many Lings. The Hellions get surrounded. The 3rd base is going to be denied for so long.
We got a bunch more Widowmines coming down here as well, but it was a very good pull this time. There's one more that's still active. Oh, really nice split there at the last second to save him.
He's losing too many medevacs for this, I feel. You know, it's starting to be very expensive. He has not a single medevac on the map, so how can he pressure? He still hasn't even dealt with the creep that's at his 3rd base because that Ling run by that Moonblade was talking about.
Yeah, and, you know, all his production is going into mines and medivacs here. He's not actually making a decent-sized army, which is why he can get bullied by Zerglings at this point in the game at nearly 12 minutes.
Yeah, he has, right at that moment when he made that point, he had 9 Marines on the map. That's all he has. Widowmine's here and try to save him. Looks like they will for now, taking a bit of friendly fire.
Actually did a lot of damage.
These Lings are just doing way too much damage for only Lings with speed. They do have 1-1, so I think Rogue has identified that little opportunity to go in and try to take a small skirmish there. And every single time he does this, he gets further and further ahead. Only now is the 3rd base for Bunny coming down. His upgrades are behind. Rogue's got a fantastic economy on 4 bases now.
Yeah. 4 bases and a macro hatch for more and more Lings.
Great creep spread as well, surrounding everywhere. You see that 4 Widowmine drop, attempting to actually hit full energy Queen's not going to do much.
Yeah, we saw some really good transfuses earlier when he tried to do something similar at the natural. This could be, well, he doesn't micro that medevac because he's worried about this Ling run by over here. He has nothing to defend at this moment in time. There was this tiny little move out. I don't know if you could consider those 5 Marines moving across the map and move out, but let's see if he pulls again. He does. Just on point with the defense while he's harassing and killing so many Marines even now.
Yeah, this is getting out of hand. Bunny showing a lot of inexperience of how to deal with a powerful macro Zerg. Gets a big hit there, but it just doesn't matter at this point. It's 4 bases to 3, and the 3rd base is constantly under harass for Bunny.
Yeah, it's basically like 2.5 bases because he's losing so much mine time and SCVs constantly.
Only now is Bunny going to actually get some, actually just sit down here and get some time to actually focus on getting that 3rd base up here. Some decent Baneling hits, actually, that we're going to try to go for a run by. clean up some of these overlords. Maybe go for another drop here.
Small victory, and Rogue will have to replace those, but this is looking like a very solid game for Rogue. Look at how much gas he's got banked to make Meatless when he's ready. He's got +1 on the way. This drop is just going to run into nothing, it looks like. I mean, or rather, like, run into a wall. I mean, he's not going to find anything with it because there's already Lings here, a Spore Crawler, Queens. Like, he cannot lose these medevacs. They're so expensive and hard to replace. He's committing too much to drops, almost, I want to say.
Yeah. It's kind of been Bunny's style, as you were saying before. This is really what he likes to do. With Widowmines, he's shown some good Marine drops as well in the past. Against Protoss, I think it was. But it's not really working out here against Rogue, for sure.
Yeah, he's trying to deny the creep so he can make an army and go for a push across the map. And with 2-2, that might be his window to do so. We're seeing him move out with a big army now.
By the way, there's no combat shields on these Marines. It's been missing for a very long time. The Observer's been trying to point that out here.
I just realized that as you point that out.
That's going to be a big issue against the Ling Bane that's on the way now.
A lot of the supply for Bunny is up in supply. A lot of it is in workers. He has 73 SCVs, so this army isn't as strong as it looks. It's only about 10 army supply up right now versus this Zerg. 17 Banes on the way. They need to come out fast. Let's see if we can get some good hits here.
I think he just might still be some creep spread around this fourth base. Look at that.
Even with the splits, it's just not.
That is ridiculous.
Enough.
It was like a pretty good split at that, but he just doesn't have enough stuff to split after all. Now these Widowmines are going to get cleaned up for hits on 1 or 2 Lings. It's never what you wanted. We got a huge Baneling run by into the third.
Man.
He's going to try to split it, but there's nothing here to defend.
Messy situation once again. Constantly taking damage from all these run-bys, and now his main attack just completely deflected by a small amount of Rogue's army just running into him.
Rogue is dealing with these Widowmines so well. Oh man, combat shield's so late. He's got concussive shells queued.
He got drilling claws before he got combat shields.
Man, well, that shows inexperience, and he just never gets enough time in the booth because he's always shadowed by these bigger players. So we're seeing a lot of inexperience in this game. Fumbling to nerves.
Not even as good as what we have seen from Bunny in the past. Just focusing a bit too much on this harass, I personally feel.
Do you guys remember in the first game of KT versus Jenner, we saw a lot of nerves, the first day I should say, out of a lot of those players. So wouldn't be surprised if, Rogue even himself is a bit nervous coming into this one. He doesn't look nervous, but he's gotten so far ahead, it's like, how can you be nervous at this point?
Yeah, he's looking like a god at this point. Look at that, even attacking the supply depot with those Marines, so he couldn't stop the mutas at least a little bit.
The eBay is being gooped here as well, so he can't even get his +3 as quickly as he wants to. Excellent maneuvering here with the Mutalist. Every time he gets caught where he can't retreat, he's like, well, I guess I'll just kill the refinery to try to get out.
He's like, I guess if you want me to do more damage, I will. Like,
yeah, he's playing with his food at this point.
Ooh.
He's so far ahead. He really has the entire map to play with. He has such an economic advantage, army-wise, supply-wise. He's just looking for a way to end it.
Yeah, that CC is a pipe dream. It's not happening. It was a scary moment with some Widowmines on the left side of the map. Doesn't look like they connect, and even if they did, it would be just versus a small group of Lings. It's not going to be a game changer. He's got 28 mutas on the map. There's finally a Thor. That's going to be helpful here, and 3-3 is getting closer. See a bunch of spines being put up to help defend drops as well.
Yeah, 3-3. Certainly going to change the game once again, and oh man, some big Widowmine hits there. Not enough to wipe out the Flock though, but yeah, 3-3 is going to certainly give Bunny a breath of fresh air if he wants to try and get back into this, but he's got to secure that fourth base as well.
He's really struggling to defend his bases, right? Like, we're watching Bio.
Oh,
man, he cannot lose these.
He's going to focus it down, trying to get that repair, but it goes down. Armor will be denied. The attack will finish, though.
Well, the attack's the big one, so he's going to get that one up and running. If he had got that left eBay, things just change in a big way in this game.
And he also killed a lot of SCVs for that as well. 17 in total have gone down. He's down to 41. Good pull here on the depots, but he burrows the lanes.
Oh, my goodness.
Trying to get that desperate repair, but one missile turret against this many mutas at this point in the game, not going to work out.
Is scanning over here to try to delay, or rather to get his base up. Oop. Oh, actually, what? We learned some new Widowmine tech today. Oh, it wasn't active. So you can bug it out just by burrowing like that? Well, I mean,
these lanes are still here.
I feel like Rogue is almost styling at this point. He's so massively ahead. He's just trying to make this game look cool.
Yeah, you know, there's still danger though if he lets his 4th sit here. I mean, it's not upgrading to a planetary yet, mind you, so he does have a bit of time to come out and deal with it before it gets a little too defensive. But he can. It's going to really give the Terran a breath of fresh air in this game. With this upgrade advantage as well with +3 attack, things could even out. He's not too far behind in supply at this point.
That's true. Notice that he's threatening with these Mulas because there's so many of them to even try to kill CCs at this point. One of the things you can always tell, oh god, hold that thought.
Here we go again. The Banelings rolling in. And there's more Banelings than there are workers.
If he had got the Marines as well, that'd be something else.
But I just want to point out, like, when you see Crate Spread is at the 4th base, that means the Terran has been so defensive the entire game. It's exactly what a Zerg player wants. If the Terran cannot put aggression on, it's a really tough matchup for the Terran. He's coming in here again. There's nothing left to kill. Styling it, man. That was pretty
Wanted
that was
to go
pretty
for
wasteful.
the burrow, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we do finally have Rogue on a hive. He starts his 3-3. Gonna get an Ultralisk Cavern on the way here as well. So for a while here, he does have to be a bit careful. Can't really just throw everything away, especially if he gets, maybe a couple of big Widowmines hits on these on this Mutaflock could do a huge amount of damage.
Ooh, Burrowed Banelings here. They could connect. Not paying attention, but he's coming back. Could unburrow them now.
I think he should.
Oh, the potential was there. But don't forget, like Moonvid's been saying, this game is not over yet, and Bunny is trying to fight his way back onto this creep. He's splitting pretty well.
He's got a scary army at this point.
A lot of good Widowmine hits as well.
Oh, huge Widowmine hit. There's so much bio left over sitting outside of this 5th base.
Well, this just shouldn't happen the way it has been. There's still a great potential for Rogue to clean this up, but that is a scary army with scary upgrades. In a pretty good position in terms of splitting.
Oh, he's still got that Baneling land field over there, minefield. Yeah. He just has almost more Banelings than there are Marines on the map, which is the issue. The supply doesn't tell the story.
Oh, big hits there. There's not enough splitting from Bunny at this point, and he's deep on creep.
Yeah, and he doesn't have an economy to back this up. He lost his 4th base. Rogue very smartly not bringing the Mutas back to deal with the army. He just took out the base instead. He knows how crippled the economy of Bunny is, and if he could just kill him there while he's got an insane economy behind it, make a bunch of Banes, he should be okay.
There are 17 medevacs on the map as well. This bio army is tiny. There's way too many medevacs in this mix, and look at this. It's just going to be a field day. Goodbye, medevacs. Looks like you're going to game number 2 with Rogue taking the first win here, leading the charge for Generic Green Wings.
As expected, this was going to always be a favorable game for Rogue. Bunny played well, but he never really found any traction, no aggression, no counterplay. He just kept getting run by, especially in his 3rd base, and getting turned around again and again.
Bunny obviously frustrated with this loss. Not the prettiest loss we've ever seen, for sure. But it looks like Rogue now going to go for that final blow. Bunny will be forced to go out the huge Baneling Morph.
Oh, man. Oh, even detonating them.
He wants him out of the game.
GG. Jenner will take game number 1. Spectacular fashion. Bunny really heavy on the aggression early game, but Rogue's defense was solid. Then he kept trying to drop into Queens and Spore Claw. He's dropping Widowmines onto, I think dropping 2 Widowmines into 5 full energy Queens. It's just not going to find any damage.
No, and they never had decent anti-air defense either. Those Mutas ran amok. They did so much damage. That's like the most fun part of the game for a Zerg player. When you're in that situation, your flock is ridiculous, and you're flying between bases just killing harvesters. So just really poor planning, I guess, from Bunny in that part of the game, and he just never found a way back in.
Yeah, I think maybe after his win against SOS, he's like, Widowmines are really good. I should use them in every matchup. He comes in here, tries to go for that super heavy harass style, doesn't find the damage, gets harassed on the other side by Rogue, even by just a small number of speed lanes. Yeah. And even the 3rd base as well was denied for so long. Rogue just doing the little things in that game to get ahead.
Well said. There was this moment in the game as well that Moonblade pointed out. He's like, well, he just doesn't have an army to pressure. He had 9 Marines on the map, 2 Widowmines, because every Widowmine he made wasn't useful for pressure because it was all just being used in drops and weren't finding damage. He just kept dropping after each base had multiple Queens and Spore Crawlers. He kept making Widowmines. He kept throwing them away. He kept losing his medevacs as well. There were no medevacs to continue to drop with Marines. When he finally had a Marine army, he had no medevacs. Then in the late game, he had 17 medevacs, which meant that his bio armor was actually quite small.
Yeah. I feel like he kind of played it like he'd play against the Protoss in terms of you are doing Widow Mine drops while you get your production up and running and your economy. But against Zerg like that, you do it once and you follow it up with Marines. You stop the creep spread, you harass the fourth or deny the fourth. You got to have some sort of plan B or a follow-up that's actually going to put pressure on the Zerg, or they are that comfortable to mass meters and bases and control the map the entire game.
Well said. The next matchup here, game number 2, is going to be a TBT, Byung versus Cure.
Yeah, and this is actually, I feel, one of the hardest matchups to call. I think most people would favor Byung, but you look at this, both of these players didn't play this season as much as they played last season. It's a TBT, it's a mirror matchup. I don't feel like either of these players are highly favored. I myself do personally favor Byung going into this TBT.
Yeah, I think Byung's the strongest in this one.
Yeah,
we just don't see Cure much at all, really. And
that's the other side of the coin. I mean, Cure also just doesn't come out too often for Jin these days. And when he does, it's been kind of lackluster. Not the Cure from 2014, for sure.
Yeah, like 2014 Cure, everyone would be like, oh, TVT. This guy is a great TVT player. He's really solid.
TVZ was so awesome back then. But
yeah, it's just, you look at him now, it's like, what happened? I don't know what went wrong. You look at all the Jin players, almost nobody fell off except this guy. Like, if you look at everyone else kind of either stayed the same or got better, went somewhere. You don't look at it and say, wow, you know, Maru's suddenly he's just not performing. You can look at other players like Life, for example, or it looks like we're going to have a little video here. We can talk over this or we can try to translate it. But
well, we should translate this because this is a huge deal. They're talking about the Pro League Finals, and it is going to be revealed here in this video. If you guys have been paying attention to Twitter, you may already know. But I think this is just kind of a funny video that the Koreans put on for the finals.
아니 회사 내에서 윗분들께서 그렇게 정하셨대요. 넥슨 아레나가 될 수도 있고. 넥슨 아레나?
he's like saying like, oh, you can have it at the next arena.
And I was like, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's the last. It's the final finals. You got to do something better.
프로리그를 사랑해주신 모든 팬들에게 정말 실망만 안기는 것 같아서. 현경아, 얘기 들었어? 프로리그 통합 결승 실내에서 한대.
결승전을?
Young joins the fray.
Yeah, like, what are you guys talking about? Like, well, we're gonna have the finals.
여기?
If we do it here, it's fine. It's like, here?
Where's here?
Oh, look, it's the garden stage at Lotte World. Huge deal. This is a huge venue. A ton of really famous performers have actually, performed on this stage. It's the Disney World of Korea. It's like the sickest finals venue we've had for StarCraft 2, possibly like to date.
Yeah, I mean, we had it on the river, the Han River last time on that awesome outdoor stage, but this time it's going to be at the garden stage. I'm so excited for that one.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I've never been to Lotte World, despite being out here 2 years. But
yeah, same. I've never been, actually.
It's meant to be the place
Come
to
on,
be.
guys.
Yeah, we've been screwing up, man.